This is a new episode of Peppa Pig Tales. In this episode, we will sing an alphabet song with Peppa and friends. This episode was made possible by our amazing supporters, Peppa George, Rebecca, Chloe, Cam, and Pedro. They are having so much fun. But it's getting late and all the little pigs have to go home now. This is the special pot that Mummy Pig uses for making fondue. Peppa doesn't really know what fondue is, but she knows it must be delicious because Mummy Pig makes it every Friday night. It's their favorite meal. If you would like to see your name at the end of Peppa Pig episodes, then support us through the link in the description below. She gives it to George. Here you go, George. It's time for your cheese sample, she says. Peppa says, "We were just pretending to make fondue, but now George has a piece of cheese stuck in his throat."
Ow.
They are looking at all the food in front of them. "Of course," says Mummy Pig. Peppa chooses some carrots, potatoes, and broccoli. Then she picks up a package of pasta. "And don't forget the pasta," says Mummy Pig. Peppa puts the package in the cart. "Ew, look, Mummy, cheese," says Peppa. Mummy Pig smiles. "Yes, we need some cheese for our fondue tonight," she says. Dips it into the fondue. Then he puts it on Peppa's plate. There is fondue on the table in front of them. "Bon appetit," says Mummy Pig. Everyone digs in. If you want to see more Peppa Pig episodes, then subscribe. See you next time. "This is the best part of my day," says Daddy Pig. "Me too," says Peppa. "I love fondue night," says George. "Thanks, Daddy Pig," says Peppa. She takes a bite. "It tastes yummy," she says. "Can we make fondue again tomorrow, Daddy Pig?" asks Peppa. "Of course," says Daddy Pig. "You can make fondue every night if you want," he says. Peppa, George, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig are very happy. They had such a fun time playing with fondue. Mummy Pig quickly helps George and tells Peppa that they will make fondue together later, but for now they have to go shopping. George happily takes a bite of the cheese. "Yum yum. It tastes delicious," he says. When they get home, Daddy Pig is already waiting for them. "Be careful not to spill it," says Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig puts the pot on the little stove and turns it on low. Then he cuts up some bread for dipping. "Did you buy everything we needed for fondue?" asks Daddy Pig. "Of course," says Mummy Pig. "Look, I even bought some bread for dipping," she says.
What?
The cheese is too hard and he can't swallow it. Peppa starts to panic. What should she do? Then she goes into the kitchen for a snack. It's empty. No fruit, no crackers or cheese. Peppa remembers seeing Daddy Pig put these in the fondue pot when he makes real fondue, and then she puts in some vegetables. She also adds a cube of cheese, just like Daddy Pig does. Then she turns on the little stove and waits for her pretend fondue to boil. She looks inside the refrigerator, but there is nothing there either. Peppa Pig is very hungry, but what can she eat? "I want to dip my carrot," says George. "Okay," says Daddy Pig. "But only if you promise to chew with your mouth open," he says. George nods his head. Daddy Pig takes the carrot and dips it into the fondue pot. It's covered with cheese and sauce. He puts the carrot on George's plate. "Now you can eat it," he says. George opens his mouth wide and takes a big bite. "Delicious," he says. "Let's get started. It's a beautiful day in Peppa's neighborhood." All the little pigs are playing outside today. Peppa gets home. She takes off her shoes and hangs up her coat. Peppa opens the cupboard where they keep the fondue pot. Peppa decides to make a game out of this. She will pretend to be a little chef and make some pretend fondue. First, she has to clean the fondue pot. She fills it with water and puts it on the stove. He wants to play with her, but he can't find her anywhere. He goes into the kitchen and sees her pretending to cook. "What are you doing?" asks George. "Making fondue," says Peppa. "Can you help me?" George loves helping Peppa, so he starts stirring the pretend fondue with her. Next, she takes the wooden spoon and stirs the water. After a few moments, she turns off the stove and takes the pot off. It's clean. Now she can make her pretend fondue. Peppa pours in some water again, then she puts in some pasta. Meanwhile, George is looking for Peppa. After a while, Peppa pretends to take the cheese cube out of the fondue pot. Just then, Mummy Pig walks into the kitchen. She sees Peppa and George and asks, "What are you two doing?" At the supermarket, Peppa and George sit in the shopping cart. The next aisle over has all kinds of vegetables. Can I pick my own veggies for the fondue, please, Mummy? Squeak Peppa. Then it's time to go home. Daddy Pig starts putting the cheese in the fondue pot. Then he puts the meat and vegetable broth in. While the fondue is heating up, Peppa and George play with the vegetables. Next, it's Peppa's turn. She wants to dip a potato. Daddy Pig takes the potato after a while. The whole family is sitting at the table. Everyone finishes their plate of food. The end. If you liked this episode, please leave a like.